welcome to another episode of BigRedFishDad. Went to a garden show this weekend, picked us up some pecan trees. We don't have any pecans out here, so I got the standard old desirable, and then I found one called a Choctaw, which is part, I'm part Choctaw from Oklahoma. I thought it'd be neat to plant a Choctaw one here, and then you have to have two different kinds for pecan trees because they got to cross-pollinate between species to get the nuts. So I got this one. This is pretty much the standard for Texas, the desirable. But like you've seen in some of my Gopher video, the Gophers are a real big problem here. So you have to build one of these baskets like this to plant your new trees in. Had to do it for our plums and especially fruit trees. They just love the roots. So I'm just going to build two of these. This one's a little bit small, but it'll work. Once they get established, you don't have to worry about it as much, but you want something while they're getting growing and everything else, or the Gophers will just come in and eat the roots and kill it, and you'll lose your tree real quick. So what you want to do is just build this basket about as big as your hole's going to be. So these are pretty skinny and tall because pecan trees are going to go deep. So they're, I think it was 20 inches. So I'm going to go for that same. I'm just going to keep it this same 24. I got the 24 foot. I got the 24-inch roll that I used for the plum trees and just got that left over. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make a circle out of that, probably about 18 inches wide. Should be good. And then about 24, and we'll just bury it 24 inches, and about 20 inches, because that way you want some to stick up because the Gophers will go over the ground. That's all I'm going to do right now is just make these two baskets. This one was just something I was playing around with last year, and I'm going to reuse him. He'll be fine. So, because they'll grow fast in the sand and spread out, and like I said, once it gets established, you won't need to worry about the basket. And that's why you use this small gauge chicken wire, because by the time the trees get big, you'll want them to, this will be all rusted and be able to break. A root will grow right through these holes for the little ones, and then when it gets bigger, it'll get so rusted in that sand and water and everything else after a few years that it'll just kind of disintegrate when the roots go through. So, but yep, you want to definitely protect these when they're young. Otherwise, you'll just keep buying trees. But I really kind of replacing the tree that fell down up there. That was one of our biggest ones. So hopefully in a few years, this guy will grow. That's what I was telling my wife one time. I said, we've already been here 18 months, and at the old house, the same thing. It took us about 5 years before we planted some trees. Well, in 5 years, that's 5 years of growth that you're missing out on. So I'm trying to get these in. Hopefully I'll get everything that I want in within 2 years, and that way, we didn't lose too much time. All right, so there's one basket. These snips work good for chicken wire. So there's the round part. And I just need to cut a piece off for the bottom to fold up. So just roll him off about right there. And this stuff will poke you, so be careful. Get to the corners, you can just kind of fold it over itself and bend it so it kind of follows the shape of the round. Just right here, just kind of fold that down, kind of like you're wrapping a package, and just bend that over like the end. And there it is. So then you'll want to just kind of tuck these in as well, wrap them around a couple times. I'll probably just use some wire and then stuff it down in the hole. Okay. There's that one. So I've got those two ready for my daughter to dig. Now I'm just going to go and mark the holes. I'm going to go way up there. And this tree says you want to place them 70 foot apart. So that's pretty big. So you got to have a big yard. especially since you need 2 trees. So you got to think of that if you're going to try and plant a pecan tree. I guess you could always do one in the front yard, one in the backyard, because they're going to get taller than your house, and then you'd have a good way to do it that way. So, all right, well, I'm going to go mark these off. So right in here somewhere. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I lost the video for the actual planting. When I copied it over to the computer, it's got that error of cannot open or whatever, so you don't get to see the digging the hole and all that, but it's pretty hard, right? Dig a hole. So all you do is basically you've got your cages that I showed you. Dig your hole. We probably came about right here so that it just drops right in, and that way you have it deep, and then you're just going to plant according to the instructions. So like these, I said, they are tall, and so you plant them deep. It was almost like a 18-inch hole, so you want to go down a little bit deeper than that, and like I said, you want to keep some of this above ground like that. And then you just put your basket in and compensate for it, because you'll want to put a little bit of sand and mulch or compost or something in the very bottom. You don't want to put your root ball and stuff right directly on this wire. So make sure you got a couple inches of that on the bottom there, and then just put your tree in, or your blackberries or whatever you're going to plant. Anyway, just put it in, fill it up with dirt just like you normally would, water it real well. We've got some of this mulch that from the tree trimmers when they come around to do the electric lines. You would just wave them down and they'll come and dump it in our yard right there for free. So we got a big truckload of it. It's almost gone, so I need to wait. Hopefully in the spring they can come around again. But anyway, and then you just mulch it. For trees, you want to make sure that you don't. You want to stay a couple inches away from the trunk, and then mound it up around, and then it makes a little basin to hold the water. And this is what we use to water it. We just bring our little water cart around and fill these buckets up, and it's got a little 1/8-inch hole in the bottom there that just kind of slowly drips out, and then it'll come in and water the tree. But that's about it. And like I said, sorry I missed it, but it's really just dig a hole, put your wire in, put some sand down or dirt down in the bottom, plant your tree, fill it up, mulch it, and then you're done. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Hopefully this will keep my gophers away.